Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and as promised, I will be updating you guys on the HBAR price chart, as well as kind of giving you guys a little bit of an insight on the overall market as well. So with that being said, I hope everybody's had a great week. We are almost marching into the weekend, so that is also very good. Overall, we're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to be obviously, addressing Bitcoin concerns. We're going to be talking about HBAR concerns. We're going to be just talking about a whole bunch of stuff, giving you guys a quick insight on what to expect from the overall market in the coming weeks to even months. So, with that being said, if you guys do enjoy the daily crypto content, definitely smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't already, definitely subscribe and turn notifications on to never miss an update. So the market is kind of doing its own thing, sitting stable, if you will, down about 1.55%. Bitcoin ranging around that $47,500 level, down to 47,000 today flat. Just sitting around that zone for the most part. Nothing too crazy happening in terms of the price chart for Bitcoin, but we also see Ethereum still above the $3,400 level, which is very key to notice. A lot of people don't understand why that is very significant. We're going to be talking about that as well. Now, my overall concern right now with HBAR is just that I don't have enough of it, really, to be completely honest with you. Because honestly, we just retested the major support zone at the previous all-time high and actually bounced off of it significantly, which tells me there's a lot of support there. There's also a lot of buy pressure there as well. So let's actually talk about the HBAR chart. So right now, currently, this is what it looks like. Looks like we bounced off of that nice support, like I said, at 46 cents perfectly. Looks solid, looks good, nothing too crazy. That is strong support. So overall, the price chart does not look too bad at all. Now, obviously, we also look like we have some resistance up here. This is talking about the daily chart, just so you guys know. I'm sure there is different resistance on the hourlies and stuff like that, but I'm going to be going off of the daily chart specifically. But there is some resistance up at that 50-cent zone. So until 50 cents is actually broken and held above it, I know that we held above it for a little bit of time, but I do think that we need to hold above that for a little bit more time and then eventually break out of the highs up there. So yeah, technically I don't like to count these as support or resistance, but this is technically resistance now at the actual all-time high now, which is about 58 and almost a half cents. So obviously, our next target point would most likely be 60 cents overall, because after that, there's really no, major resistance points. We will have to make a resistance point up there. So I still think that we continue to go much higher. This is a nice pattern that we have been forming. Obviously, we need a little bit of a slight pullback. If you actually look here, from pretty much the bottom candle down here to the topping point up here, it was roughly about an 85.91% of an increase in price. So this little slight pullback is nothing too concerning at all. Plus, Bitcoin didn't really help us at all, but it is what it is. This is roughly only about a 21-22% pullback, which is very healthy. I think this will allow us to go even higher. Where do we go from here? Well, it's very simple. I think our next major target, because obviously I'm targeting 60 cents, but I think would be 75 cents. Plus, and I think that that's more so logical because that's still only a roughly 64.57% of an increase in price. If we do increase the price by 86%, we'd roughly be at around 85 cents overall. So I think that we look fairly good for the next rise in action on HBAR. I still think that we have a lot more movement left in us. We are in the price discovery mode, so wherever we go from here, I'm going to be enjoying it. I'm going to be enjoying the ride up. And as you guys already know, I don't have any concerns with pulling back on HBAR or, the price pulling back a little bit here and there, or any FUD either. Like, I don't really buy into the FUD on HBAR unless it actually makes sense, because I've done research on HBAR for so long now to really kind of understand and know everything about the network, know everything about the ecosystem, and honestly, half of the FUD that is out there on YouTube, for example, like Coin Bureau's videos or even the tokenomics FUD and stuff like that, it does not make sense at all, because logically, all you have to do is do a little bit of research to understand that the tokenomics are totally fine, and also half the FUD that is out there is pretty much false or just kind of made up lies overall. So overall, everything, and I know that I just said overall like 100 times, but it is what it is. Um, with that being, the case, I think HBAR goes much higher from here, and I think that we eventually target $1 plus, most likely by the end of the month into the beginning of October. As we've been talking about that for a fairly long time. Now, talking about this and talking about Bitcoin, right? So I've been watching Bitcoin very, very closely because we are now in that sort of upward momentum movement going back to even the 2017, 2018, and 2013, 2014 bull run, as you guys probably know and are probably tired of hearing about on this channel. But it is very key to, understand that, I still think that we are playing, in part with what's to come in terms of upward momentum. Obviously, September 27th was my main target point, but if we could actually break out of this channel up here, so let me just move this overall horizontal line up a little bit. So if we could actually break out of that 52.7K zone up there, actually hold above it, and eventually target $56,000 plus, get to that 56.8K zone, that would be very, very bullish for us. I think that that's where we pretty much say, all right, well, we're back in store for the all-time high being targeted and going into our major parabolic move. When do I think that that will happen? Well, eventually, I think that that happens probably around the middle of October, somewhere around this 84 span period here. Now, I did do a video recently where I think that this is actually going to be a longer sort of date. I think that this might actually be on the Bitstamp chart. So, all right, yeah. So we have this sort of little channel that we're in where I've been calling for a little bit of, that nice, 27th of September sort of date. But realistically speaking, it kind of looks like we're playing into the 7-day span where we go back onto that upward momentum, which I did say before this upward momentum, just to be transparent with you guys. And I think that this is more so what we're playing into, where we will see now from our current levels to the end of this date cycle that I have on the chart. 1 second, let me actually move over. So if we actually play perfectly into this, we will see another 109 days of price appreciation for Bitcoin. This will also allow for a lot of altcoins, including HBAR, to hit some major targets. Now, where do we top out on in terms of Bitcoin? Well, I've already been telling you guys my price targets. You guys don't have to listen to what I say, but overall, I've been telling you guys about what's to come for Bitcoin, and I honestly think around 85 to 95K is the topping point. I don't think that we see 100K this bull run, and the only reason why I say that is, well, it's because of the idea of people waiting for that level to be broken, right? If there's a lot of demand, for an example, if, I don't know, 30% of the holders in an asset were looking forward to seeing 100K or, this specific target, what do you think the chances are that target never gets hit? It's more so a higher chance point. So overall, people get way too greedy, and I think that people realized that, especially in the past bull runs. And I think a lot of the people who know about the market or trade the market on a daily knows that I don't see, 100K being the target point for Bitcoin this year. I just don't think that there's enough demand. But that doesn't mean that altcoins, especially HBAR, can't hit those high targets that I've been talking about of like $10 to $12 or even the $3 to $6 range, which I think is pretty much inevitable this bull run in my opinion. Now, with Bitcoin, it doesn't matter where we top out at, just as long as we get to there. It doesn't matter if 85K or 95K is the topping point, or if, say for something massive happens, we get to 200K, whatever. It doesn't matter where the topping point is, just as long as we get there, and that's it, right? Now, in terms of that, I'm also watching Bitcoin dominance. It's more so like a chop city in this market right now. Everything's kind of looking a little choppy. For example, Bitcoin dominance just is trading in this nice chop from about 39.99% to about 41.85%. So until something actually happens with this chart, or with Bitcoin, which I still think that Bitcoin is kind of ranging to go back up and target this nice 52.8K zone or 52.7K zone, whatever you want to call it. I think that that is where the true validation pinpoint actually lies with the next major move in the market. But we do look good. Overall, we look solid. Bitcoin has held this nice support zone Just to give you guys a little bit of an insight on where that is. Even if we look at the support zone from yesterday, or the 15th if you want to call it, that is pretty much the $47,152 range, or the support zone. Now, yes, we could get a little bit below it, but that's nothing too crazy, right? That is overall a major support zone that we have held, and I think that that is solid for us. Now, overall, are we on resistance? Is there a resistance point here? Well, we always have to look back at the previous patterns. So what's making us top out here? What's making us stop here at about 48,226? Well, if we do look back here, that was some resistance from going back to even February. So until that level is actually fully broken, or we get a breakout above or below those two lines right there, we're not going to see any, more parabolic or, crazy moves overall. Now, I will say this, right? What I'm seeing on Bitcoin is that nice channel of momentum or price appreciation for those 112 more days to come, or 108 days, I think it was, after I did do the new price or the time chart. But overall, it doesn't matter, because I still think our topping point is still around the end of December into the beginning of January. That hasn't changed at all. I think that we are playing perfectly into the 4-year cycle, in which that case, HBAR will see some major gains, and I've been telling you guys about that for a very long time. Nothing has really changed with that. HBAR's overall price chart looks fairly strong. We've already had that nice 22% pullback. I would be looking to enter here at this level, because I think that this is a solid pinpoint to enter at. I think that this is a low risk, high reward factor, because even though, it doesn't feel good to buy at 47 cents after buying down here, or even if you didn't buy down here and you missed out on this entire move up and you don't want to FOMO in, I'm just going to say it right now, this looks like a solid support zone that we have built, and it looks like a little bit of a chop zone that we are in. So until we get that nice breaking point, I think the next major move up is most likely going to be a major high, which will most likely be around that 75 cent to $1 plus, and eventually getting to those major high targets. So you do the math. From 47 cents, who knows? We could see $4.70, which would be a 10x from our current levels. So I still think HBAR has 10x potential in it. Most of us have already 10x'd from here, or even more. I mean, most of us pretty much from the 3-cent zone have more than 10x. But overall, I think that this is a safe entry point here. If you haven't already got a bag, I would be looking forward to adding here, because listen, you're pretty much from here, it's a 10 cent gain to the all-time high that we have now on the chart. So with that being said, everything looks fairly good. The charts look good. I'm going to be watching the dollar and also the major indices as we do move on into the later weeks, or even the later days in this week as well. So with that being said, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys don't want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. If you guys do want more paid content, you guys can check out my website, NCashOfficial.com. But with that being said, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.